This lesson, we're going to be going over tables. Tables are an old HTML element that people have used for all different types of things, probably in some cases that they shouldn't have been used for. But they're very useful. They're used for displaying tabular data, just kind of like if you think of an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. That's the main purpose of them. And they're very useful, very fun to play with actually, because they're a little different than all the other HTML elements. And so we're going to jump right into this with what a table does.
Rick, I know you talk about tables being used for tabular data, but I know I have seen, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen some of the older websites and some people even today building their entire website with tables. Do you suggest this? What is your take on that?
Yeah, that's what a table is and what a table is not. A table is for tabular data. Remember, we're talking about semantics and how an H1 tag represents a heading, and a paragraph P tag represents a paragraph, and a table represents tabular data. It shouldn't be used for design, even though a lot of old school people still kind of use it for design and layout. And it shouldn't be used for that. And there's a lot of reasons for it. Probably not going to go over a lot of that in this course because this is more just basics of HTML. But it does a lot of bad things when you start designing in tables. But just for now, just keep in mind that tables are to display data. And keep it at that and we'll be fine with it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a table, and I'm going to use TextMate's wonderful HTML bundle to quickly generate a table. So I'm just going to type in table and hit tab, and it's going to generate a bunch of stuff for me. And the first thing I want you to notice here is that we have a table tag right here, and it closes here, and inside we have a couple nested tags. Again, nested just means that it's inside another tag. The first thing I want to do before we start typing all this out is I kind of want to make sure we have everything nice and neat. I'm really picky with how code looks, so it's hard for me to understand that there's actually two tags here going on. So I'm going to space this out. I'm going to show you how I would do it. And get this over here. This. Get this over here. And the reason I do this is so I can clearly see that, okay, this stuff right here is inside the table tag. This right here is inside the TR, or the table row tag. Um, and that's just how I like to do it. It's easier to read that way. So let's get right into it. So in a table, if you think of like an Excel spreadsheet, you have rows, which are TR tags. So what I just did here is I just created a row of data. And inside that, just like over here too, we have another row of data that ends here. I have another tag here called a TD, which stands for table cell, and that's the little, if you think of Excel, that's a little block there that you put the actual data in. So in order to have columns, what we're going to do is we're going to have multiple cells. So if I do 2 like that, now we have 2 columns. If I do 3, now we have 3 columns. If I do 4, now we have 4 columns, etc. So let me jump up here. I kind of skipped over this tag. The TH tag is pretty much identical to this, but it stands for table heading. So just like Excel, how you would have up at the top, you'd have your headings for each column. That's how this would work. So let's go ahead and create 2, 3, 4. One. Let's just do data column 1, data column 2, and I misspelled that. Data column 3, data column 4. So we have 4, and then we have underneath that the actual data, which is down here. Okay, so we have 2 rows here. We have a row right up here, and that contains our cells, which are really our headings, and then we have another row here, which is our first row of data. So if I wanted to create another row, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, paste it, paste it, paste it, paste it. So I've got several rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of data, and 4 columns. So that's our basic table, and in the next lesson we're going to go over some attributes of the table to give it some spacing, some padding, even some borders, and look at some different things for a table.